Welcome to an in-depth demo of Castello AI. Today I'll be talking about the four pillars that we train Castello on, which are fundamental, technical, economic, and sentiment analysis. And we can all agree that fundamental takes the most amount of time. So I will be diving into understanding the business. I think is a big part of fundamental analysis. You need to figure out debt levels and profitability ratios, as well as understand the revenue of the company. So Castello is able to give us a graph response that we're able to see the revenue annually, quarterly, over the past 5 to 10 years. We can change the format of the graph, play with some of the features of the graph, percentage change, however you seem fit, as well as it gives us a breakdown from 2020 up until now, what the revenue was, and if it increased or decreased. And via smart bolding, we're able to see what we want to see right away. Along with understanding the business, I believe understanding finances is another huge part of fundamental analysis. Calculating CAGR is one of the many calculations that Castello can do. Not only does these calculations save me and other investors a lot of time, but also a lot of frustration. So as you can see here, it has calculated Chevron's CAGR's revenue and earnings CAGR, as well as compared it to its industry peers and kind of analyze what the key drivers of growth are, and also given us some context. If you want to dive deeper into what the calculation was, you can ask a follow-up question. However, I will not be doing that in this demo, but it has the ability to do so. The final part of fundamental analysis that I'll be covering is understanding the strategy of the business. So we can ask a question about the discounted cash flow model for Chevron and some of the assumptions that we make from this model. You can see that it lists out key assumptions of the Chevron's DCF model, as well as the impact of those assumptions, and then conclusions drawing from what we just saw from these insights. Now, moving on to economic analysis, we can ask the question of what are the current and projected economic conditions that affect the industry in which Chevron operates. It'll give us a lot of economic metrics. You can see the current economic conditions that are impacting Chevron, as well as the projected economic conditions that will impact Chevron in the future. So this is just great to see from an economic analysis perspective. Now, technical analysis, I can ask 100 questions on, but for example, I am asking what are the price trends and volume of Chevron's potential future movement. And this gives us a great graph that we can see of Chevron's volume over time. And we can see via bar graph or line graph over the past 5 to 10 years. We can see trends recently, as well as certain analysis of volume and technical indicators. And you can, of course, dive deeper into this and ask follow-up questions in regards to some of this analysis and some of the insights that we see here. So it shows us market sentiment and some of the analyst ratings that it is a consensus buy, and that kind of allows me to transition into our last analysis, which is sentiment analysis. So again, we can ask a number of questions here, but I will be asking what the investor sentiment is and kind of just diving deeper into this point that we saw in the technical analysis question of market sentiment. As you can see here, it gives us a great breakdown of some of the recent trends that has affected sentiment of Chevron, as well as the current investor sentiment. We're finally ready to ask, is Chevron a good stock to purchase right now? And we can finally come to the conclusion that Chevron is a good stock to buy if you're trying to hold for the long term. If you are looking for short-term gains, then it's probably not the most viable option, but it gives us a good summary of some of the things that we talked about in terms of financial health, some of market sentiment, economic sentiment, different perspectives from different analysts. And you can see here that this is a great way to screen stocks and figure out what stocks to buy.